The Drive-Thru is our monthly news episode and is sponsored in part by organizations like CollectorCarGuide.net, Project Motoring, Garage Style Magazine, the Exotic Car Marketplace, and many others. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor of The Drive-Thru, look no further than www.motoringpodcast.net. Click About and then Advertising. Thank you again to everyone that supports the Motoring Podcast Network, Grand Touring Motorsports, our podcast Break Fix, and all the other services we provide.
You ready, Tanya?
Sure, I'm doing one last.
Okay, I've got my notes. I'm good
All
to
right,
go.
you ready?
Yes. No. Yes.
All right, bring us in.
Welcome to Drive-Thru episode number 57. This is our monthly recap where we put together a menu of automotive, motorsport, and entertaining, quote unquote, car adjacent news. Now, let's pull up to window number 1 for some automotive news. How's everybody doing?
We're doing. Well, we're going to talk about how we're doing.
Yeah.
That's our showcase. How y'all doing?
Is it really?
It is.
I just tied right into that. Look at that. Right on top of that, Rose.
That's like those when I posted on Discord. Those mints. They're called Judge Mints. The Golden Girls Judge Mints.
Oh my God. You need to find some of those and bring them on Sunday.
Could have bought them. They were right there. But I was given the Bob Ross Happy Little Trees mints. I mean, they're all like Altoids or whatever at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. But the judgment you could give to somebody and say, you've just been judged.
Tanya's doing comparative shopping on HPD events because the prices are outrageous.
Yeah,
I have not looked at any of the pricing or anything. How bad is it?
You know what? Just tell me up front the cost. Don't make me go through, pretend like I'm registering. I want to register based on the cost. I don't want to go through the steps to register to then find the cost. Why is this complicated programming?
That's really dumb because they want you to commit.
Oh, she's having heart palpitations. It must be bad. It really boils down to what we've been saying for a while. There's a lot of track days that are Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, you got to take half the week off because you got a trailer out there, you got a trailer back. And then it's like $9 million to go to some track. And you're like, it's not even a top tier IMSA track like Road Atlanta or Watkins Glen or VIR.
You got to pay more money. You have to burn vacation days, which is more money.
Yep.
And then you're driving on like Jefferson.
Correct. For $700-800.
That is stupid. And then nobody wants to instruct anymore. So they're hurting for instructors.
Yep.
I feel like the HPDE is kind of going through its swan song right now.
We have hit a breaking point where we were trying to do the math, and there are certain sanctioning bodies in the amateur club racing space where it is cheaper to go racing than it is to go do high performance drivers education. As an example, like a VRG event doing vintage racing, if you have a vintage car, one that qualifies, it is cheaper to go do that than it is to go run Summit Point on a DE weekend. It doesn't make any sense. And if at the end, you're going door to door, you don't have to worry about point buys, everybody's licensed, and you get a trophy.
And if you don't care about being competitive, then you don't need to burn through brand new Hoosiers every session and shit like that. You just go out and have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, this month's showcase is going to be a little bit more personal, a little more anecdotal, if you will, right? We got some stories to share.
Mhm.
And I got to start off with this one. Tanya, correct me if I'm wrong. You and I went out to dinner together the other night, walked into this place. I turned to her and I said, oh my God, look, it's Daniel. It's Mountain Man Dan. Spitting image.
it was his cousin, that's for sure.
We're like, man, Daniel's here. Holy cow. So then we're sitting down to eat. And Tanya like taps me and she's like pointing out the window.
I did a double take.
Dude, this guy was your doppelganger.
I thought you walked in, and I was like, oh, wait, no.
Really?
Yeah. Same color hair, same height.
Same haircut, same like everything. We're like, Brad is here where we got the Daniel doppelganger. This is incredible.
So what I didn't tell you all is I was in Maryland hanging out with Daniel, trying to get my Simpson back, and it didn't
Good
work
luck
out.
on that.
Yeah, he's probably sold it by now. Desiree's probably wearing it for some reason.
It is a harness after all.
Hey, are we talking about Daniel or Gus?
Oh no. Oh, those are some memories. Oh, that's
Bazinga.
some memories. Whew.
Oh yeah.
Talking about track days, there's a lot of hand wringing going on right now in terms of, who's going back to the track. And there's a lot of commotion on Discord today about, back in the old days and we used to go to the track. And I was like, yeah, but a lot of people sold their cars during COVID.
Sold them before COVID.
Before COVID, slightly after COVID, people have been getting out of HBDE for a while, and there's been sort of a consumer and customer shift. But the problem is, you hear about these events. We're full, we're sold out, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, how? How? You're charging like $1,000 a day to go to these racetracks. And it's like, what?
They're full and sold out the way Tesla's autopilot is autopilot. That's how they're full and sold out.
And I had a conversation with several other instructors and even my wife. I haven't decided yet. I did the CI gig a couple of years ago. I've done some coaching on and off. We went to VIR the last time, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, my problem is I'm not stuck in the past. My car's not slow by any stretch of the imagination, right? But cars that people are bringing to the track compared to the cars that we were bringing to the track 10 years ago might as well be pirate ships and the Starship Enterprise. And there's this level of like, do I really want to get into a 200-mile-an-hour hypercar and try to rein somebody in that just wants to go full Ricky Bobby? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. That's what it is.
No, it's called intelligence.
Wisdom. We call it wisdom, right?
We call it wisdom. Yes. Through experience, we gain wisdom. And I'm the same way. You were coaching longer than I was, and
Yeah.
I do not want to sit right seat with anybody ever again. And I didn't even have nearly as bad experiences as you've had. It's just coaching wasn't for me, and that was the only way I could afford to go, especially now with little kids. And I don't have
Yeah.
a car, so I'd have to borrow somebody's car or rent a car or something. Coaching was the only way I was going to go. I just completely lost interest in coaching, even before COVID. I was just like, man, I got to sit right seat with somebody again. God, such a pain in the ass. Which is the last event that I did. I actually paid for the Audi Club event at VIR in November. I was like, I just pay for that event.
Pay to play. That way you're left alone.
Exactly. And I only get 8 sessions out on track, but they're my sessions until I break the car. So I get 2 sessions.
Yeah, you're not doing 16 sessions, right? Where it's like you got to go in 8 sessions of somebody else's runs as well,
No. And then there's nothing better, nothing sweeter than packing up at like 10 a.m. on a Sunday, waving bye to all your friends who have to stay there till 5 p.m. and then drive 6 hours away.
Don't remind me.
See ya. I'll be home by like afternoon snack. I'll be home before you guys leave.
Yeah, right.
Coaching sucks. I'm just going to put it out there.
There's some very altruistic things about it where you're like, I'm giving back and we're teaching a future generation of drivers and blah, 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 blah. But it's sort of weird too, like the looks you get from people when you're like, oh, you drive that old thing? And I'm like, yeah. And you got a R8. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm still going to pass you.
Yeah, right? So all that aside, I mean, it is getting more and more expensive. And I think it is not just a changing of the guard, but it's also due to the economy. Things got really expensive during COVID. Inflation is real, as we know. Really what we do, it's a luxury, right? And it's a fantasy. And we're living out our boy racer dreams and, going and having fun with our discretionary income and, all that kind of thing. But right now, things are so crazy. Is it worth going to go spend $700 at Summit Point when I used to spend $200? And so you're kind of like, let me pump the brakes for a second and be smart about this, because with all the doging and the layoffs and the constant consternation that's out there, we just don't know what's going on. And to boot, now we got to retract some of the stuff we talked about last month with our Trouble with Tariffs episode.
I also think we should make a clarification that we're not retracting. The highest seat in all the land is retracting.
Do we even have tariffs anymore? Like, I don't know what the heck's going on.
No, we still do.
Tariffs are the new chips because tariffs.
No, they're still all out there. That's for sure. The automotive ones held, but then previous agreements with Mexico and Canada aren't being voided. So basically, certain parts that are being imported from those countries are not impacted by the tariff, so they're not seeing a tariff, but like everything else still is.
Brad's sweatpants are. We know that. So.
I don't know, because then how do other cars imported?
Yeah.
Those are still, I guess, subject to that particular country's particular randomly assigned tariff rate.
I'd hate to be the person who has to account for, audit, and track all of that BS.
I just want to know where the money goes. We're imposing all these tariffs, and where is the money going if it's actually being collected?
To lower our deficit, right?
I'm not going to get into that discussion, but this goes back to our anecdotal showcase for this month. So we're at dinner after we saw your doppelganger and this Mountain Mandan clone that was out there.
What did I order? Where was I?
This barbecue joint.
Or in a barbecue place.
Yeah, some ribs and some cornbread.
Definitely got the pulled pork then. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah.
So as we're sitting there enjoying our meal, talking with our friends who we hadn't seen in a while, they were telling us about their new car buying experience. And I'm trying my best poker face because we talk about this stuff every month. And I'm like, if you don't have to, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. You've heard me rant about this. And I'm just like head in hand, again, trying not to show my cards. And I understand why, their son is now of driving age, so they gave him mom's van, and she's sort of lamenting about missing the van, and she lived out of the van for so many years, and she loves her van, and blah, 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 and this and that. And they tell us this story about, they've been a Toyota family for a long time, and she wanted to get like a RAV4 hybrid, but, the fictitious countdown timer, like our DeLorean timer, if you remember that, was rolling down, and, they got to buy a car before the tariffs hit. Like a long story short, they ended up buying a Honda. She's not really in love with it. She's sort of okay with it. So it made me stop and think for a second. Maybe it's my tinfoil hat. Was all this a scam to get people to buy new cars because the automotive market has been soft for the last couple of years and people are keeping their cars longer?
Yes.
Yes and no. I think
Okay.
the tariffs exist. I think there's a certain amount of sensationalism and panic that went with the communication of it. Oh, what was I just listening to where they were talking about tariffs and this, that, and the other, and there's people taking advantage of it. Like we said, what would happen, right? How do you know what a company is doing? And there's people that have no right to be charging tariffs, and they're just marking stuff up because they can, because everybody else is marking stuff up.
Yeah.
That's very real, and that's happening. I'm seeing in my own world right now at work and procuring stuff where it's like, our prices are rising. Oh, and look, there's a line here at the bottom that says tariff. And literally like tariff, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, now you just have this extra chunk of money that I'm paying for what?
Again, where's the money going?
Allegedly into the Department of Treasury's bank account.
Uh-huh.
So is it a scam? I don't know. Did the automotive industry and others probably take advantage of, fanfare and hype to drive some extra sales at the end of the month? Probably, no doubt. In theory, it shouldn't apply to what's on the lot already because they've already been imported. They've passed through customs. So it should only apply to vehicles assembled post the line in the sand or whatever, and then any other cars that are coming off the boat from other countries. How fast is the inventory moving? I don't know. Who are you to say that, XYZ BMW from Germany off the line was here or not here already, right? Yeah. Like, I think it's unfortunate the consumer loses all the time because at the end of the day, it's the person bringing it in who's got to pay the tariff to us. And you know what they're all going to do is it all ends up back to the consumer because they're going to raise their prices to cover it.
And I couldn't do the math. Maybe it was the barbecue sauce or something that was affecting my reasoning, but buy another used car for a 16-year-old?
And you know what? I was thinking about this the other day in that thought process. And I think there was something else I was listening to. I listen to a lot of like WTOP these days. So I hear a lot more.
Oh my God. You move into Eric's neighborhood and all of a sudden you're Eric.
She's worse. I'll listen to NPR, but I won't listen to WTOP.
Oh, NPR. That's right. NPR.
I have a long drive and the music selection and the radio banter gets old pretty fast into the drive.
True.
At any rate, so they have the relevant news conversations that they get you up to speed, right?
Up to speed.
Look at that segue. Anyway, so I think they were even saying something and it prompted my thought and back to that night and that conversation. And I was thinking, okay, the year 2025, you've got a kid that's coming to driving age and you go and they need a car. What's wrong with buying them a used car? Because the used cars that are in the bracket to buy now, because everyone's argument's always safety, right? Oh, it's got to be safe. Well, a car that you're going to go buy that's 10, 15 years old is way safer than when we were 16 and we're getting the 10 to 15-year-old car and it was perfectly okay then. But like the car in my background right now, I mean, it's safe. Sure. Got no airbag. So it's not safe. But back then, it was no big deal. Today, you go and be like, oh, I'm going to get a used Corolla that's 10, 15 years old. That used Corolla is 100 times safer than this 40-year-old car. And that was my first car. So like, what's wrong with getting somebody a used car?
And to your point, have you seen those crash tests where they take your favorite car, the Malibu, and like run it up against like a 1950s Cadillac that's like the size of a school bus and it'll just destroy it? Like it's absolutely bonkers how strong the cars are, even from like 10 years ago, to your point.
Well, I was even thinking like you could go back at this point 20 years ago,
Oh, yeah.
2005, which actually is my daily driver. I don't think it's a death trap. It's got all the airbags, curtain, this, the other, steering wheel, dashboard, all that stuff. I don't have all the nannies. This is what reminded me of it. It was an article on LinkedIn, and the person was talking about how when you're buying the cars for kids these days, you should absolutely be buying them a brand new car. Because again, it's the safety and this, that, and the other. And people were making arguments about, well, no, like an older car with less nannies makes them a better driver. They're just going to get complacent with all this automated turn signal and the blind spot detector thing where cars doing it all for them. Like, no, you don't need to. And that's what got me thinking of this. I'm like, again, the 20 years minus 2025, that car is still perfectly safe for somebody
Yeah,
to drive.
yeah, for sure.
It's a lot different story than in 2000 and you went back 20 years.
So 1980, yeah.
And you're like, oh, I want this 1980 car as my first car. Ooh.
And that also drove us into another part of the conversation. So I asked, because I was really curious, and Brad, you were on the What Should I Buy for My First Time Driver and Teenage Driver episode. And if you remember, we were pressing one of the panelists about what it was going to cost to insure a 16-year-old new driver in 2025.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Right?
Good shit.
So Rob Lors, if you're listening, brace yourself.
Holy crap. So I was expecting, she's like, yeah, had to go through the insurance. We got the quote. And she's like, you will not believe what it was. And in my head, I was thinking, okay, because what did she say? For the two of them, they were only paying
like $2,500 or something.
Yeah, something like that, maybe, or not
Yeah.
even that. I don't even know if it was that high. I can't remember. It's something in that neighborhood of 2000 or something. So in my head, I was thinking, okay, probably doubled easily. So I'm thinking like, okay, probably not like close to $5,000 or something. No. OM to the G times 3. Literally. $15,000 is what the insurance company quoted to add their son.
15K.
GTFO. 1 5 and 3 zeros. So then she said, oh, hells no, basically. And I don't know what ensued and da 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 da. At the end of the day, it came down to around the 5,000 number that we were all kind of guessing was going to be it. But the original quote was $15,000.
How did the insurance company justify that number?
He's male and he's 16. Done.
But still, it doesn't fucking matter.
Do you remember when you got insurance at 16? I remember when I got my first bill and I was paying more than my parents.
Yeah, I would.
What?
Mine was $3,600 a year, and I was working to pay car insurance
Yeah.
for a car I could only drive to work.
Yep. Self-fulfilling prophecy, I think that's called.
It's a circular reference.
Yes, and I only needed the job to pay for the car insurance.
And you needed the car to get to the job that you needed to pay for the car insurance to pay for the car to get to the
Exactly.
So when the train leaves Boston and the other one leaves Arizona, how many Litos pizzas is that?
It's not enough Litos pizzas. Okay, so 15 grand. I feel like
You're in a world of hurt.
No wonder you got to get paid $40 an hour to work at McDonald's.
I feel like they need to sue the insurance company for predatory policies because that is absurd. Not even that. The policy that they landed on, is that with the same insurance company?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, then what does the insurance company do to justify that $15,000 fucking dollars?
I don't know, because I asked her too, like when I got insurance on my car, because it was old when I got it, and I'm sure you did this too. Our parents were sort of like, liability only on the car, do the personal injury protection like you're supposed to, that's state required. That way, if something happens, but write the car off.
Yeah.
You're buying a cheap car. You wouldn't put full coverage on a 20-year-old car with a 16-year-old driver. It just doesn't make any sense, right?
But if you're buying a brand new car and you've got a loan on it, you need
Yes, it's
comprehensive,
required.
you need collision, you need liability, you need the bells and the whistles, and there's your 15 grand on top of a $40,000 car.
Well, they gave him the old minivan, so that wasn't necessarily the case.
True. But I mean, just people in general that are saying you need to buy a brand new car.
There's other people that would do something like that.
Yeah, people with no brains.
So granted, there's some mitigating circumstances here. They're adding a third car, which is her new car versus he's getting the hand-me-down. But then he's the new driver and all those, amortization tables that they go through and all that kind of stuff. But what I thought was really interesting.
Oh, there's more.
Well, wait, there's more.
Yeah, get out your slap chop for this one. I kept thinking, we saw Doppelganger Brad. I was like, Brad is hosed, man. 2 boys, they get to driving age. It's going to be like $1 million to insure these kids, right? But what she told us was it makes no difference now, male or female. They have leveled the playing field. There is parity.
Equality, baby.
Yeah.
What we burned our bras for.
Not to vote, but to pay more for car insurance.
So I'm basically screwed as well. And I'm like, oh my God.
This is why you buy an old piece of crap car.
But see, the thing is, I keep telling the wife, we got to buy them now and then just park them in the driveway until it's time. Because the price of used cars is going back up again, like it was during COVID because of all the shenanigans that's going on. So it's like when you get to driving age, you're going to spend 30 grand on a used car for a 16-year-old kid and then have $15,000 worth of it's insane. It's absolutely bonkers. Just that gives me the agita just thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Who knows even how the automotive landscape changes? I would assume in the next 10 years, it's probably not going to be so drastic, but I don't know anymore. The world, like...
I mean, unless they start introducing the sodium batteries and all this other kind of stuff, even the EVs, you can't.
It depends. Like, if somebody wanted to be a jerk. What if there's mandates that say cars have to have XYZ features on them?
Yeah.
I'd have to bin all my cars.
Do you mean like rear cameras?
Cameras, forward cameras, automatic braking, because all the new cars have to have all that stuff. So
Yeah.
what if there becomes, even like airbags and stuff? Oh, it becomes illegal suddenly. You can't be driving a car other than if you were towing it to a car show or something. Like your cars have to, blah, 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 those kind of things. Like suddenly there's a whole swath of the used market that, what do? Crush them all? I don't know.
It's so funny to me that they've got all these features that are mandated as standard for safety reasons, which you would think, if they make the car safer, then the insurance should go down. But then they
Never
also make
does.
the cars more expensive, which means they're more expensive to replace and repair, which makes the insurance costs go up. So you're always screwed.
And the driving tests are even simpler now than when we started driving. Did you know that they don't even do parallel parking anymore? Stuff like that is like not even on the test. And I'm like, are you
What?
kidding me? Especially on the East Coast. If you don't know how to parallel park out here, I don't know what you're doing because every city is a gajillion years old and that's all you can do. Whatever. Anyway, so to Tanya's point about the automotive landscape, Jalopnik, another one of our favorite sources for automotive news, put an article together estimating what it would cost for an all-American made car, let's say in the next 5 years. Tanya, what is that number that they
My
guessed?
God, $400,000. What's the insurance on $400,000 car?
$4 million, right? I don't know. It's a lot. So, Brad, this leans back into your dashboard confessional about why it's cheaper to keep her. And oddly enough, I always used to think it was like a track thing, when we used to go to the track. And one car would break and then they would all like systemically have like a pandemic of their own. And then everybody's in the pit trying to like fix their cars. And it was really weird coincidence. So you're talking about your car and all this kind of thing. And then I suffered a near catastrophic failure on the Jeep. And knock on wood, I've had no issues with it in the last 11 years.
Except for the oil line. You had an oil line issue from the turbo.
Well, that's what I'm getting to, right?
Oh, it came back.
Different. So I had one in the beginning where it was smoking in the cabin, but they fixed that under warranty. It was a BS thing.
Yeah.
This would have left me debilitated on the side of the road. So long story short, I found out that the transmission cooler line was rubbing into the oil pan and it had cut itself a hole. And if it vibrated the wrong way, it would just start puking transmission fluid everywhere. I thought it was the oil pan was leaking. And I discovered this after a couple days of driving into the city, as I tend to do when my wife's out of town to, drop the girls off and stuff. And so it got to the point where it was puddling in the driveway like significantly. And I'm like, ooh, we got a big issue. Got under there, figured it out. And I figured, all right, I'll order new part. We're in the middle of tariff time. I will bite the bullet. The Jeep has been a workhorse for years. It's dependable. It's reliable. I love it. It's a great place to be and all that. And I ordered the part from a Mopar parts place in Texas. I'm like, yeah, exciting. It's $200. I'll change it. It looks like it's going to be a pretty big job. No biggie. I've done worse. They call me 2 days later and they're like, so the part you ordered is not the part for your Jeep. The part you want is no longer available.
What?
Oh, you're kidding me, right? So I started looking into it. It has to do with the diesel. It has to do with the transfer case, the way it routes. They only made 35,000 of those particular Jeeps in 2 years. Like global production numbers were very, very low. So a lot of this very specific parts are starting to disappear, which has got me a little bit nervous. So I started calling around, trying to see, is there new old stock somewhere? Somebody sitting on one by chance? Nothing, 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 nothing. So I had two options. I'm going to take it to the fab shop and have it all ripped out, replace custom made lines and, pay the piper and do that. But my first course of action was the tried and true fix it with some Volkswagen parts.
Oh, well, yeah, that's how you fix anything.
That's how, yeah. So once again, the legend continues.
Mhm.
My Jeep is back on the road, although I now need to refill the transmission because I don't know how much fluid I've lost. So it's still parked, but it is no longer leaking. So this is awesome.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The Jeep's been down, which means I'm driving the wagon again.
I didn't realize you had stopped driving the wagon.
Wait, do I not know this story?
No. So, like, I've had to go on some excursions now. Like, I drove up to Watkins Glen with it and, like, all these longer trips because, I had all this stuff planned and it's not going to stop me. And the car's 23 years old now. It's like, I'm not worried about it. It's been reliable, too, as all get out. But this goes back to the conversation of when we were younger, the old days, the good old days. We were beating our chests. We had our first cars, and it didn't matter if the AC worked because what did we have? We had AC 255. Roll the windows down, 55 mile an hour, except when it's the rainy season and it's humid and it's gross and you have no air conditioning. That is the most disgusting place on the planet to be. Oh, and by the way, when you get stuck in traffic with a VR6, where does all the heat from the engine compartment end up? In the interior.
Mm-hmm.
That's like this car here. You have this blast of air no matter what. It burns your leg.
I had to go to a meeting and I had to drive quite a ways. I got stuck in traffic. It took me 3 hours to get where I was going in first gear most of the way. And I'm just like, please, God, don't let me have like big armpit sweat stains. It was like a sauna in there. I was just dying. And then you try to crack the windows and then shit's all fogging up. It was awful.
So I'm going to give you a life hack. What you do is you find a gym, right? You've got a national chain with the most locations.
Okay.
You sign up for the national membership. If
I
you can
heard
get
about
in,
this.
you take a change of clothes with you, and then you shower right by wherever your destination
Planet
is.
Fitness, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You sign up for Planet Fitness. $20 a month gets you the black membership, which is all the national membership, and then you can shower anywhere. You take a change of clothes.
In the context of Big Brother is always listening, so they always say your phone is always listening or recording or doing whatever. It's like, who cares? Popped up in my feed, after I lost 10 pounds of sweat. Another Jalopnik article, windows down, impact on miles per gallon versus air conditioning. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So I read the article and it's always the same old story. The parasitic drag of the air conditioner on the motor chews up miles per gallon, especially the hotter it is, yada, yada, yada. So if you can deal with AC 255, like when we were young and dumb, you're going to get better gas mileage. So I will say, in testament to that, would you like to guess what I was getting on the highway out of a 23-year-old six-cylinder?
I can't guess.
I don't care.
What?
He's like, it's better than my truck.
My truck sits solidly at 16.
I am proud of my VR6. 28 miles to the gallon.
28 is impressive. I was going to say 21.
Right? 28 miles to the gallon. That's damn good. And that's not some BS computer figuring out. That's literally, I drove this far and I pumped that much. That's what I consumed from full. So even if I'm off by a couple miles, let's say it's 26, dude, that's pretty damn good for, let's say, almost 25-year-old car.
We're a quote-unquote performance car.
Yeah, and I'm chipped and everything else. It's like, come on. But that's not the end of our Volkswagen drama, is it, Tanya?
But there's more.
Act now for just $9.99 a month.
So Tanya got her diesel back on the road, right?
I did not. You do the motor swap?
Yeah, fresh motor and all that.
We want me to talk about my Beetle woes.
We have a mystery on our hands.
We started off talking about track days, this, that, and the other, right?
Yeah.
I haven't done a track day. I didn't do any last year because I was driving the Beetle all year. And I said, I can't risk my only car now, something happening, and then I don't have a car to drive. Granted, the VR6 would have been at my disposal had I needed it.
Which you used it for
Which
a
I
time,
did
right?
have to use a couple times. But nonetheless, I said, I'm not going to do any track days. If we end up doing any, we'll share the other VR6 or something and blah, blah. So in hindsight, I think it was very good that I didn't do any track days because I started having this mysterious issue where I was watching the temperature gauge go really high and then it would suddenly swing back down and then it would go really high and swing back down and then settle back and be like normal. And that's my secondary temperature gauge. The actual temperature gauge of the car doesn't exist and it's just a colored light that changes for you. Never went red to indicate that there was some sort of catastrophic temperature situation that was happening. So I'm like, okay, maybe my gauge is going bad, blah, blah, blah. This was also wintertime. This was also around the time when it was literally below 0 Fahrenheit in the area, which I think was also a blessing. So car's running fine, running great, tolls, all this stuff. I got the other car back running.
It was just before.
It was just before I was about to get the other car back running. We said, oh, let's take a look at it, see what's going on. Realized the coolant wasn't circulating. We opened up the thermostat, thought it looked kind of funny when you looked in on the water pump, thought, oh, maybe the water pump blew up somehow, and it's not circulating. So we said while we were at it, we swapped to an open thermostat, blah, 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 put all that back together, turned the car back on, trying to get things flowing again, diagnosed this, that, and the other. Long story short, suddenly it starts billowing white smoke out the back and like the temperature's rising, the coolant's not flowing. We're like, shut it down. I bring it back, park it in my garage. Next thing you know, I've got an oil puddle that magically appeared. The car doesn't drip a freaking dot of oil. Suddenly I have a puddle of oil under it. Long story short, I guess whatever we were doing when we were running it, trying to diagnose it and get the coolant running, I blew up the turbo.
Holy crap.
I got oil coming out of the exhaust pipe. That's how blown the turbo is. Milkshake oil coming out the exhaust. So that thing's shot. We started taking it apart, pulled the water pump out to find that the water pump's perfectly fine. And I got worried because we changed another thing at the same time while we were at it. We're in it, 42 draft oil catch can. We swapped it. So we closed off the top. So basically, I think it started frothing the oil because I pulled like the dipstick out to check and suddenly it was like milky looking. And I was like, holy shit, the head gasket, like what's going on? Oh my God. Before we touch anything, I drained some of the oil, took a sample, sent it out. Cause like if the head gasket's blown, the whole thing's coming out. There's no point in doing a timing belt service, this, that, and the other, right? Oil sample came back, said everything was fine. There was no trace of any coolant in the oil or anything. So I think whatever we did with the catch can was bad, that it wasn't breathing and it like frothed the oil or whatever. Fine, we'll figure that out. Meantime, when we're going to like investigate the coolant and all that stuff, the antifreeze shimmers like glittery nail polish.
Oh.
It's
Like
crazy.
fairy dust inside, like metal shavings, like very, very fine, like everywhere.
Awesome.
But the water pump came out perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it. Spins, no signs of any damage. The bearings all good. So, mystery saga continues. And the other alarming thing that happened when all the temperature stuff in the winter, I had no heat in the car. And I thought at first, because everything the car was running great and blah, 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 but I would have no heat. So yeah, it was fun times at 0 degrees in a car that had no heat. Car actually seals pretty well, that car. So I started taking apart the dashboard, which is still half apart, because I was thinking, okay, maybe something happened in the doors, like the door flaps weren't opening, so the heat's there, but it's not coming out, and this, that, and the other, but all that looked fine, da, da, da. So anyway, we finally got to tackling it again this past weekend, I think it was. Did the timing belt service, put the auxiliary water pump in. I got a new radiator because we figured, okay, the water pump was fine. The thermostat's not the problem. This isn't the problem. That's not the problem. Maybe the radiator collapsed and that's why there's all the metal shavings. So I ordered a brand new radiator. The radiator is ancient. Who cares? They're not that expensive. Put everything back together and it's like, still not really circulating the coolant. With a hose, we were able to put the water everywhere through the system. And eventually there was some air still in it. So we got some of the air out. And then I started finally feeling like heat coming through. I think there's a problem with the temperature sensors, which I just got today. So we'll replace those on the radiator and the one that controls the fans because the fans weren't turning on, which is kind of weird as the car was getting up to temperature and we're sitting there and I'm like, the fans should be coming on now and they're not. Shut it back down before I Chernobyl something else.
And the fans work.
So I turned the AC on and then the fans started spinning. So the fans do work, but if the thermostat and the switches and the things aren't telling with the temperature to turn the fans on when the coolant's getting hot, so be it. Nonetheless, I don't have my track car still for it's been months now. I think I got the other car up at the end of February, early March, and the Beetle went down basically
the same time
2 weeks before. And then I was borrowing the VR6 and it's been down ever since. So all this track talk, I can't go because the car's not fixed.
and I can't go because I can't tow.
Wow. So if I recall correctly, there was the motor from the Gus.
Yes.
This whole saga, it was if we have to pull the motor because something catastrophic's happened.
You're putting the Gus in, yeah.
Yeah, we're putting in a 300 horsepower four-cylinder in it. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Then maybe it's
so
time.
Tanya, did you blow up the Beetle on purpose
No,
to get the Gus?
no,
You should have
not
years
at
ago.
all. I was very upset thinking that like something
Of
with
course.
the head gasket blew and then I Chernobyled the whole motor. I mean, I'm very upset that I unnecessarily, accidentally, basically killed the turbo, but hopefully that won't be too much of a tragedy.
The Beetle will ride again. That's all.
Well,
I'm saying,
it's just that it's so tight in there. The nightmare of getting that turbo worries me. Though I did watch a video of somebody. I was like, all right, let me see how bad it is.
Well, it's not that bad if you just take the whole motor out.
Well, they didn't. They didn't.
But you should.
So the joke has always been with the Beetle: service position, engine out. Tell them
Yeah.
about what you discovered in the Bentley manual.
So the last time we had the bumper off, I don't even know how we got the bumper off because the way the car is designed, so where the headlights are, there's a piece of the fender that comes down and meets the bumper. And in behind, in all encapsulated that you can only stick your finger through, there's these two torques and it holds part of the one side of the fender to the bumper. Somehow we managed to take this off another time. How we got them back on, I don't know. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and somehow got in there and like twisted the thing. It's impossible. So I said, let me look up some videos like how to take the bumper out the Beetle. And then I watched somebody do it and I was like, let me look at the Bentley manual. Oh, they said the same thing. The way to get the bumper off is you take the fenders and the bumper off all as one piece and you take all of it off. So all of it is off my car right now.
Holy crap.
Like, I walked into her garage and I'm like, what did you do? And it looks like a dune buggy because the way the frame rails come down, it like cuts the nose off. It's wild.
Very Mad Maxy. It's pretty cool.
And then what's really neat is the timing belt job becomes
Oh.
really easy when you take the headlight out because you can just put your hand in sideways, which you can't do on a Golf or a Jetta. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So you just dismantle half the car and then you can do the job. It's no problem.
I was always really worried about like taking the fenders off because like, oh my God, I'm gonna take the fenders off and everything, like they've never been off that I know of. And it's like all your panel gaps are never gonna line up anymore. So it's gonna be a disaster when it goes back together. But actually there's like studs. So it's like you can't misalign it because it only goes on one way. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, this isn't that bad then. They actually thought about this. It's apparently the service position is take it all off.
Eric, I think you need to send Tanya on a trip, or the next time she goes on a trip, you need to take the Beetle apart and put the Gus in, and she's just going to come home to a 300 horsepower Beetle. That's what needs to happen.
That was the plan. That's a built boater. It's ready to go.
Except for the minor custom things that do need to still be done to
It needs
mate
a downpipe once it goes in, but it's going to be a rocket ship for sure. Because, I mean, you remember that car at VIR, it would just leave people. It was like, see ya.
Yeah, so I say just do that. Just do that. Stop messing around with a motor that you haven't even fully diagnosed yet. Just do the Gus. Ran when parked.
100%. All right. So as we wrap out our anecdotal showcase here, I mentioned, I was driving to the city. I've been on these long trips lately and, I got some windshield time listening to podcasts, listening to old drive-throughs and memories gone by and stuff like that.
Aw.
I did some car spotting while I was on the road, as I like to do, because, I don't get bored. I'm just constantly looking around, right? First up on the list, remember how last month we were talking about the new facelifted Tesla Y and how, oh, haha, that must be AI. They put the Cybertruck front end on it, blah, 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 blah. No, that's for real. It actually doesn't look bad. I'll be honest. I never thought the Tesla Model Y looked bad. I was always thought it was funny. It was made with Home Depot parts. But the thing is, the redesign is interesting. The rear end is also interesting. They made it almost looks like a previous generation Dodge Charger with that kind of skinny light going across the back. So all in all, I kind of like it. I'm not saying I'm going to run out and buy one, but I got to see it in person. It looks better than it does in photograph because it does look fake in photos. So on top of that, did a quintuple take if I could do one. I got to see, because I didn't think they existed. I think they're like Tyrannosaurus Rexes. The new two-door EV Dodge Charger. That thing is awesome. It looks really cool. Too bad it doesn't have the thump of a Hemi coming out of it, but it looks badass. It is low, it is wide, At first, you kind of think it's like some modified Challenger because it's two-door instead of, the typical four-door Charger that we're used to the last couple of years. But with that skinny grill, oh, it is menacing. It is tough. It's terrific. Like, I really, really liked it. And honestly, if it had a gas or a hybrid option, I would go look at one, like to go just to test drive one, because I was really, really impressed with its stance and the way it just stands out on the road. And it was a really pretty color too. And I was just like, oh man, that's super cool.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever actually seen one on the road, but I know that the dealers are selling them for like $10,000 under MSRP because they can't move them.
They're stopping already.
They're discontinuing it in 1 year. It's like the shortest production run of any Stellantis product because they can't move them.
Well, the problem is they're built in Canada.
There
Tariffs.
we go. Oh, there we go. There we go. Boom. None of that maple syrup. And then finally, the last one. And I know Tanya saw one too about the same time period.
It's the first time I've seen one.
Again, they're wild. They're as rare as hen's teeth. And that's the new Z400, which, I am still very much in love with that car. The redesigned one that's coming out with the double grille, I think that's even better looking. But this one, at first, I couldn't tell what it was. I just see this black, low, wide, big wheels, tires, and I just hear this V6 sound coming, tinted windows, and I'm like, what is that? And it's coming at me, right? It took me a minute to figure it out, but there's that peculiar style of the new Z headlights where it's sort of like the Nike swoosh thing it's got going on with the LEDs, and that's when I recognize it. But in all black, de-chromed with a body kit, oh, dude, it is tough. That is a angry looking car. When he went by, just from the back with the red lights and kind of reminiscent of the 300ZX turbos, it was like, holy crap, that is a good looking car. Much like the 350Z was a really good looking car when you fixed them up and did the whole JDM Fast and Furious stuff to them.
Yeah.
So I think the new Z400 really wears aftermarket stuff really, really nicely. So mad props to that guy. Oh, dude, I'm in love all over again with the Z.
I love the 370Zs. I like the redesign above the 350. The 350 was a nice looking car, but I really like the 370s. A neat little benefit to doing the weight reduction mod on myself is that my ass is smaller. The cars that I would never have dreamed of being able to drive are now, I mean, my height is my height. I can't do anything about being 6'4". But with my body getting smaller, my chest size is getting smaller, I can foresee fitting in cars like maybe a BRZ or the new Z, or I don't know about the Supra because the Supra is tight for someone who's sub 6 feet tall. So probably not that. But I'm adding all these cars to my list of potential future purchase within 5 to 10 years or so. And I'm going to have to add the 400Z to that list because I like them in the pictures and I'd like a 370Z, but who knows what's going to happen. But being able to fit in some of these smaller cars that I could not fit in before, it's a neat little benefit.
And the new Z, you've heard me say it before because I've sat in one. To me, it's the Japanese 928. It's a big Grand Tourer. There's a ton of space. Once you get in it, because it's real low, once you sort of drop in it, you realize you're like, man, I got like a foot of headroom in here. And unlike the Supra, to your point, where the roof cuts off really fast, you at 6'4" could get in a Z with the helmet on. I think there's plenty of space in there.
The problem is if I go and look at one now, I'm going to want to bring it home.
1,000%.
I can't do that. So I have to wait. And that's why I asked last time when we were talking about this, because the last time we discussed how the production numbers and the numbers sold, it's outselling the Supra now. That's a good thing for the used car market in a couple of years because that means there'll be a lot more of them to choose from when I'm ready to buy.
For sure.
Sweet.
Well, that concludes our little adventure. We should probably move on and talk a little bit more Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche. I don't even know what to think about this. So there's a new GTI coming, but it's not your grandma's GTI.
But if it's an ID3 GTI, that isn't an electric car?
They are going whole hog on this electric thing at Volkswagen. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but I don't like it. I don't.
I mean, it's not horrible, but
it's not great.
It's a Chevy Spark.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's the side profile that I just got stuck on. It has that shape and this weird two-tone.
Yes.
Doesn't do anything for it. It's almost like the inner color. I'm like, that back, that if you just tilted that up a little bit, that's a Mark IV right there.
Let's talk about the price.
How much is it?
$54,000.
And it's made in Germany, so we got to add, what's their tariff? Roulette wheel?
60,000 on top of that. Yeah.
But it's going to have 335 horsepower.
Yes.
One of the most powerful GTIs produced.
Going to have 335 electrons. Are they really horsepowers?
Are horsepowers even really horsepowers?
Well, you know, the Aussies have always rated their cars in kilowatts. So I guess maybe we're moving to that anyway. So it's all good.
Kilowatt?
Kilowatts of power. That way it's neutral. It doesn't matter if it's ice or if it's electric. It's how many kilowatts of power does it generate. And then you don't have to worry about torquems either because it's just power generated. Boom, done.
And did this say it's going to be rear wheel drive too?
I believe so, because all of like the ID4 and all those, unless you get the all-wheel drive package, they mount all that stuff in the rear because all of the electronic stuff is in the front, which is why it doesn't have a frunk like every other electric car has. You know, you get your standard hatchback. That's how it's laid out.
So at the current tariff rates, it would hit just at $60,000, just under a $54,000 GTI, because it's 10% on Germany right now.
I told you the GTI was going to be 60 grand one of these days. It's coming sooner than you think.
What is the difference then between that GTI and the GTI in the next article?
Yeah, so the new e-Golf.
Yeah, why is that different than the ID3?
It looks better.
This is the two-door. So the ID3 is a four-door and the ID2 is a two-door.
For a second, I was like, is this the interior? Dream in the 80s.
Yeah.
No, not even close.
The back end is Mark V.
100%. The Mark V with the Ioniq 5 rear taillights on it.
Yeah.
Now, this could be a rendering. I don't know if they've actually built this thing. They're claiming front wheel drive instead of rear wheel drive, which people are mixed about that. I mean, I think it looks cool. I don't think they're ever going to build this because didn't Volkswagen already say no more two doors? They were done. No more two doors forever.
There's a seam for the rear doors. It's
Yeah.
just, it doesn't have a traditional door handle.
So it's like a Veloster then where the rear door's sort of hidden into the bodywork. I
Yeah, which I think looks really cool.
think I would buy a Hyundai.
I'm charged up for it, like the article says. Get charged up. Get charged up.
That's some bad dad jokes right there, my man. That is terrible.
I'm a bad dad. So
I'm
there you go.
confused, though, by the naming conventions, though.
What can be confusing? GTI and e-Golf GTI?
An ID3 GTX, but they're all GTIs, and they're both EV, so what's the difference?
There's not.
There's nothing GT about any of them, really.
No. This is like Audi's S line or Porsche's whatever. It's just
The Lexus F Sport.
it's just becoming a badge.
So regardless of the GTI, an e-Golf is a regular A-line, but the ID3 Golf, which is just an e-Golf, is the S-line.
Maybe the RS?
That's my confusion. They're both Golfs at the end of the day. One's an e-Golf electric, and the other's also an electric.
You have a better chance understanding Sumerian than understanding what's going on at Volkswagen right now, okay?
So I think it's less that and more think Range Rover and Range Rover Sport.
Oh, yeah. I
Or
could see that.
Bronco and Bronco Sport. I don't think the new GTI is actually the same car. The ID2 looks nothing like the ID3. The ID3 actually looks quite bigger. So they're probably not the same.
I think the only real GTI left is the Golf R.
The Mark IV.
Well, there's that too. But no, in today's money, it's a Golf R. The Golf R is still ice powered. It's
Which is the GTI that's not called a GTI.
yeah, but it's the only true, it's the only purebred versus these other things which we're going to slap GTI badges on it because we're trying to entice a new generation of people into the GTI lifestyle, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call that.
It's like the Ford Mach-E.
Yeah, we'll call it Mustang because
The Volkswagen Mustang. The e-Golf Mustang. There you go.
to continue Volkswagen and Audi and Porsche's infinite wisdom, and we alluded to this a while ago, that they were going to do away with gas engines in the Boxster and the Cayman. But now that is coming to fruition.
Allegedly.
I think that's a bad move.
It's weird when a bunch of other manufacturers are reversing course.
Now, double down. Stubborn Volkswagen way of doing things. And it's your best-selling cars, too. Like the Boxster and the Cayman outsell the 911s because the 911s are so expensive, right? If you're looking for a sports coupe or a sports convertible and you go to Porsche, you're going to buy one of those two. I mean, unless you have 250 grand like we talked about last time for a GT3 RS, because why settle for a base 911 when you could have a track car?
Why settle, you peasant?
God, so lame. To go EV in these cars, it's going to drive the used market of a Cayman and a Boxster through the roof, though.
It's going to come out before the new Tesla Roadster.
I'll bet money on that.
Who's buying these? Who's the
Right.
market? Who's affording it? Because at the price that the gasoline ones are at, I mean, the EV's not going to be cheaper anyway.
But that's not all that Porsche's up to.
Alleges.
Alleges, yes, that's a good word for it. That they are going to have a road legal version of the Porsche 963. And for those of you that don't know what the 963 is, watch any WEC or IMSA race from the last 3 years, and you will see the Porsche 963. It is an LMP1 GTP hypercar prototype.
What are the rules around this kind of thing? Because I don't want to be the Debbie Downer poo-pooing things, but why does this need to be street legal, first of all? And second of all, how can it be street legal? This thing would pass no NHTSA safety standards of any kind. This thing is going to give you the most insane rock chips if you're ever behind it. Big ass tires that are completely exposed. Can you imagine the missiles that it send at your glass?
It's going back to the 1996, 97, right, Brad, with the 911 GT1, and they made the Strassen version. So they had like street versions of the Le Mans car. I guess they're trying to do that again. Who's going to buy that other than to buy it and put it in a museum?
How much is this? This thing is going to be rich people things
Oh,
on
yeah.
steroid.
For sure.
So yes, it's going to be a one-off model. Yeah, and you're going to sell one of them.
Didn't they do this with the 918 as well? There's like a street version you could buy of that, Brad?
I believe so, yes.
It's not out of their wheelhouse. I just wasn't expecting it with the 963 because there is nothing street about that car. You can't put groceries in it, even if you wanted to. And I wouldn't take that to the track. It's too much car.
Haven't we already done this with the 959 and that like didn't turn out very well?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a good street car.
Uh-huh.
Why are we doing it with this, which is even worse?
Because somebody at Porsche thinks it's a good idea.
Okay.
Because we're talking about it
Aren't we, though?
and we're talking about the brand. These cars aren't really for people. I mean, they're kind of unobtainium, they're kind of fantasy, but they get people talking about the brand. And you shoot for the 963. It's like, oh my God, look at that car. It's the poster car. You can't afford one. You'll never be able to afford one. Like the richest person that you know would never be able to afford one, but you can get yourself an electric Boxster.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And you can feel like you're part of the team, right?
Yeah, it's like I'm supporting Porsche. Yeah, I've got a Porsche, got a 944. I don't have a 911, but I have a 944.
Man, you're taking us back now. All those 944, 924 guys going, they are Porsches. I promise you.
Oh, I drive a Porsche. Oh yeah, what kind of Porsche you got? Oh, a Cayenne.
Touareg.
I drive the Spice.
Well, this next one is what we should really be talking about. And I know this hits hard for Tanya.
Do we need to like put her on the couch with a pillow?
We
and
need to
just-
play taps for this. He's gonna have to go seek
Bum,
therapy.
bum, bum.
It's sad. So the Ital design firm, which is Giugiaro's design firm, basically, and he's very famous for many cars that people would know, especially during the 80s, Volkswagen, Audi, the DeLorean,
Mm-hmm.
various BMWs, Lancias, this, that. I mean, the list of cars that he's designed,
Iconic cars.
including the one here in my picture, were designed by him. And so apparently they're going to sell off the design firm or dismiss them.
There is a for sale sign in front of Ital Design.
Layoff, boom, you're gone. I mean, did he die? He's still around, right? Did he retire?
The way I read it is Audi bought 90% of the shares back in like 2015 or something like that. And then when Giugiaro officially retired, he sold the rest of his shares to Volkswagen and Audi. And so they own it outright. In their infinite wisdom, we're going to build something like the 963 street car that nobody's going to buy and spend all that R&D and all that time and all that money doing that. And then they're going to sell off one of the most famous design firms that's right up there with Pininfarina and other names that you know, and let that go because they're trying to save money. It's like, wait, what?
Here's the question, and it's actually something I was thinking about recently as well, because you keep seeing these posts and things, and it's all AI basically renderings of cars, and whether they be reimaginations of older cars in a more modern flair. And honestly, it's like most of the ones I've seen, please hire AI because it's doing a far better job aesthetically than the humans. So is this a move to go, I can just have the AI do my designs now? I don't need this team of 7,500 people that come up with crap, basically. Right?
That's fair.
I don't know. Is that the future? Are there going to be even more layoffs for automotive designers? Because, hey, AI can do it cheaper, faster. better?
The only problem with that, though, is we're always mining old ideas. So AI is really good at refining and combining old ideas,
It's really good at doing that.
but it can't come up with unique, new, creative thought. And that's where humans have to come in and say, you know what? We are going to move that line like this a little bit because we want to catch the air a certain way. Like, I don't think we're at that level.
Until you teach the AI to think.
Well, once the AI thinks like that, that's Skynet. That is Terminator time.
That's the goal.
We got issues. All right. So let's switch gears and talk about Stellantis.
Wait. What about our Mercedes and BMW news? We've got like nothing.
We covered it for the year, didn't we?
Took care of it for the next 5 years. We're good.
So what about that BMW M2 that was designed to look like a redesigned 2002? It actually looked really, really sweet.
I have a filter that says "Show me nothing" from these brands.
I might have seen that.
It was like a khaki color almost, but it was really, really cool looking.
I would have definitely ignored it.
But that was another AI rendering, right?
Yeah, it
Well,
was.
no, I think BMW actually built it, I thought.
Oh.
All right. Well, Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche divorcing themselves from Ital design. Ferrari did the same thing to Pininfarina.
Mm.
A lot of people are kind of up in arms. The new Ferraris are ugly as a result of not being associated with Pininfarina, right? And so I kind of wonder, to your point, Tanya, are they using computers more now to design things? I personally like the look of the 296. I think it's cool. I think it's a throwback to some of the earlier cars. I'm not a big fan of the F80, although everybody says, oh, the F80 is amazing. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm like, that's out of my range, right? If I was going to buy a Ferrari, kind of like the Porsche discussion, I could maybe buy a 296. I can't buy, anything bigger than that.
There's something about this that doesn't say Ferrari to me.
No, it says Acura NSX.
It says McLaren to me.
Yeah, it does look like a McLaren, 100%. You're right.
We talked about all this before. I mean, and Matt Yip, may he rest in peace, he had an entire series of articles and stuff about like car design and how it suffered so much just for the pursuit of function over form.
Yeah, he used to always say, there's only one design that cheats the wind. All the cars are going to end up looking the same.
Yeah, and I feel like we're closing in on that, especially in the performance car and the hypercar and the supercar market, because nobody cares about what they look like anymore. The whole point is about their performance.
Well, the performance numbers of their Strassen 296 GT3, whatever they got going on over there, 900 horsepower.
That's it.
I mean, they could do more, but 900, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Just wait till they all start using Dallara chassis.
Right?
They can make the companies so small and just be engine manufacturers, engine and suspension components, and put those into a Dallara chassis and then slap any old badge on it they want.
Meanwhile, over at Alfa Romeo,
what is this thing?
I think it's a rendering. I'm not 100% sure. All I got was a front end shot of the new Stelvio.
Despite my accolades to the quality of AI, this might be a knockoff AI or something. When you see those AIs where they show the person with like 8 fingers on the one hand, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the future. Good luck.
It's not AI, it's AI.
Yeah.
Well, this looks like a Cylon. Like, if you remember Battlestar Galactica?
Yes, I was thinking of the giant sentinels from X-Men.
Similar too, but it's just no.
Hold on, I've got the real picture for you. That isn't it. So the 2027 Stelvio, this is it.
Oh, God. What is that? I think, there's vomit in my back of my throat. That is terrible.
This is like if a Stelvio was designed in Jersey.
Well, they went with that classic late 1940s Formula One grill with the Alfa Romeo written across it, like you'd see on
That's
8C?
fine.
Which looks totally out of place.
It does.
On a car of this century.
The problem is the shape of it's not right. Like the writing thing, fine, whatever. I could get over that, but it's like the shape of that is not right.
It's the Mandalorian's car. That's what that is. Look at it. Can you see it? Make it gray. Hit the horn and it just says, "This is the way. This is the way." Did you guys hear these rumors that Stellantis might be merging with Renault?
I had not heard that.
Well, I read about it.
Apparently it's not true, so.
It can't be. Well, it's not happening. But I thought about that. Got my spidey senses tingling. Stellantis merges with Renault. They already have Citroën and Peugeot. They got all the French manufacturers that are left. And then by proxy, they would own Alpine and Nissan. That would make Stellantis the largest car manufacturer in the world?
I guess.
Is that really something to be proud of? Because whenever we talk about the largest manufacturer of the world, it's never conversations about how they're making great products and the cars are all awesome and I'm so glad that they're number one. It's always they're the largest manufacturer in the world and they make shit. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Who is it now? Volkswagen now, the VAG group, and they make complete shit. Before Volkswagen, it was what, General Motors?
Yeah.
They make complete shit. You get to be the biggest because you mergers and acquisitions of failing companies.
Yeah.
So you just make your sinking ship bigger.
This whole Nissan hokey pokey that's been going on, right? We talked about how Honda was going to merge with them. And then, I found this rumor about Stellantis and Renault, which meant they would have ended up with Nissan too. And then I come to find out that Toyota had reached out to Nissan after the Honda merger had failed. I was like, okay, that's interesting. And, you hear even today, they were talking about, the head of Toyota's like, if a car can't be fun, then don't bother making it. This coming from the people that make the Camry, the car for people who hate cars.
The 300 horsepower Camry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not your grandma's Camry anymore.
No.
But the reason I stopped at this Motor One article is that it had these really great pictures of this new Nissan that they're touting right now. But a lot of people might not realize, and this is where I got excited, is that this is the R5, the new one that we've been talking about that's like $250,000, reskinned as a Nissan, just like the Juke was a reskinned Renault Clio, but you didn't get the manual transmission. I keep thinking, is this coming to the States? Like, are we going to actually get the new R5 by way of Nissan? We need to go test drive this car.
Yeah, it'll be crap.
The new Nissan Micra.
So it's a Micromalta, what is it? Micromaltima?
They're all Ultimas.
It's the Raltima.
I think this is the coolest new Nissan next to the 400Z. I think this is neat. I like this. It's cute.
I added one.
Oh,
The Fiat. We haven't had much there, but click this and look how cute their little new tuk-tuk is.
I saw this the other day and I was going to post about it. Isn't this just the Ape?
Who cares? I don't care. It's beautiful. I'd love to see one of those.
Oh, look at this cute little thing. It's a K car.
Pretty much.
Which there's also news about those starting to make a return, apparently.
Yeah, and laws are changing around K cars where they're becoming actually more acceptable. There's one running around here now. Some guy brought one in right-hand drive and he runs around town with it. And he's got this thing on the back. Like if you see me post on Instagram and tag me, I think it's really cute. But he takes that thing out on the beltway and I'm like, good Lord, if it does 60 miles an hour with a tailwind and a semi pushing it, that's a lot. Good night.
Apparently, Colorado has passed a law that allows them starting in 2027.
Yeah.
So there you go.
This-
Tanya loves crap like this. It's a three-wheel. This is a Vespa with a bed on the back.
But they're only going to be in Africa and the Middle East.
Oh.
So chances are we're not going to see one roaming around Europe.
Is that because they can't sell these to the little old Italian guys?
Probably not, because theirs are still running after 900 years. That's why.
They're like, I'm not buying anything new. Now, the thing is, in Italy, you can drive these without a license. So I'm wondering if that's still the case.
I've also added on another recent article.
You've been hiding Fiat news from us. What else is going on?
So there's the Grand Panda 4x4.
The Granda.
It's the Grana Padana.
Adana, banana, grana, badana.
It's a concept, so who knows? But they're calling it a direct heir to the 80s Panda 4x4.
Except that the front lights are from the Hyundai Santa Fe that's out right now.
That's problematic, and we have time to change that because this is a concept.
Oh, I see how it works.
It's kind of cool, the little side panel where they have the two-tone thing, and if you notice, it says Panda.
Ooh.
I still like the other concept that they came out with a couple years ago that was like that electric Panda. That thing, amazing. Still needs to be built. They need to go back to that and restart.
You just need to import an original Panda.
They're old enough now. Maybe I should go shopping later.
Yeah. All right. So random EVs and concepts. Tanya, you brought this to my attention. I didn't know Amazon was getting into the EV game.
The pickup truck. Yes, the Bezos-backed Slate. The affordable EV truck to outdo the anti-Tesla, as they like to say. It's minimalistic. I think it has like roll-up windows, all that kind of stuff. Like that's the level of minimalism that it has. And its starting price point alleges to be $20,000. after federal EV incentives.
Why do these look like Broncos?
90s Broncos.
The white ones in LA kind of Broncos.
And is that a bad thing?
Probably the same thing as those Mahindra
Yeah.
because they bought the rights to the old Jeep design. So they own the rights to like the Willys design. They can't make them and sell them street legal, but they can make them.
Well, the other thing with these is I believe they're all configurable. And so you see the picture of the Bronco, it's the pickup truck that they put the cab on the back.
Oh, okay.
And then they put the seats in. And so it's able to be converted into the 5-seat SUV versus a 2-seat pickup truck
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever. And apparently has a payload capacity of 1,400 pounds, which, if you wanted to compare it to a Maverick that has apparently 1,500 pounds,
How many bags of mulch is that?
it's a lot of bags of mulch.
I like it actually. I think it's cool. I want to see this get made. I'm going to do a Brad question. What gets made first? This or the Scout?
Gets made first. Definitely this. Which do I want to come first? The Scout.
What you should do is look at their website, because with the customizable stuff, just scroll across the cars. You just hit them, like, look at all the color configurations apparently you can do, and like different wheels you get, but it's all like the same car, but it's like, which Lego piece do you want to swap in and out?
Does it come with a Prime membership?
You can order it on Prime and get 2-day delivery.
Is a drone going to deliver it?
It'd be interesting to see one on the road. So unlike the Tesla, you can reserve this for only $50.
Oh, wow. They're undercutting. They did the undercut.
Fully refundable.
Fully refundable as long as you don't cancel that credit card for whatever reason.
Tanya brought us another one in the category of EVs and concept cars. I never thought I'd say this ever in my life.
It's the
Oh,
Russian Ionic 5.
This Yugo, I'm going to say it again. This Yugo is really cool.
it's not terrible, actually. That's the sad thing. But the front of it reminds me of like the EV charger,
Yes.
Tonale or something.
Let's bear in mind, this is a model
Yes.
car, right?
Correct.
So a lot of people are like, oh my God, look at the build quality. It's already crap. They can't even.
It's like a shoebox sized model.
Yeah, it's like a 1/18th scale model because, that's all Yugo can afford anymore.
What is it? Is it a car for ants?
Yes.
I think this is really cool.
I mean, if they could actually make it and be affordable, it wouldn't be horrible. There's worse looking things than this.
The question is, will the build quality be reminiscent of the originals?
Are they just melting down old Yugos and recycling the parts here?
Yeah, right? All right. Well, I'm in it. We're going to put a pin in that. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to skip over Lost and Found this time. There was really nothing to report.
Nothing from Chuck LeDuck.
Nothing from Chuck LeDuck or Gray Chevrolet. But Brad mentioned before that we didn't have any Mercedes or BMW news.
That was a good thing.
I've been biting my tongue this entire time because we went straight to the uncool wall with a brand new Mercedes.
This is another model, right? This isn't.
No, this is for real.
No, this is like a paint drawing. The paint app on your computer rendered this.
And people are saying, and I quote, the Mercedes Vision V
Vis-a-vis.
is damn sexy. And I'm like, am I blind? Did I miss something?
So when I saw the front end,
It's a largemouth bass.
reminds me of the Cars Pixar movie.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
looks like Doc Hudson,
It's so bad.
who was voiced by the late great Paul Newman. It looks like the Doc Hudson character.
Why are its headlights doing suddenly?
It's a Mercedes. It's looking down on you. It's giving you side eye.
It's side eye. Yes. It's
not that.
and its name is Gustav.
It is ugly, is what it is. And that's why I put it up on the uncool wall immediately. You can go vote on it now with like 75 other cars that we have on the list. But this is ugly from the word go.
This is some CGI though. Like they didn't actually
Terrible.
build one. This is
No.
just computer simulation.
But this is the garbage that comes up in the news now. It's stuff like this.
Because there's nothing else to talk about.
But we're going to get rid of ETAL design and we're going to let computers design the next generation Mercedes.
Again, to contradict what I said earlier, this is the bad AI. Actually, this is probably a human that did it. That's the problem.
Horrible. It's what it is.
It looks like a carp.
That's unfortunate. So, switching to lowered expectations.
Lowered expectations.
I read this headline and that's all that needs to be read. California thinks driverless big rigs are a great idea. What could possibly go wrong?
I think that since we've mastered self-driving in regular cars, they don't wig out when they see the sirens, the flashing lights, and crash into stationary parked vehicles. And as we saw from a couple episodes ago, where there was that comparison with the the Roadrunner painting and the Tesla blew right through it, the self-driving, all that stuff. Clearly, it works flawlessly in a 4,000 pound vehicle. Couldn't be anything but gangbusters when you got 19,000 tons of coming. Nothing could go wrong. This is Stephen King.
This is Death Race 2000. What are you talking about?
I only see this being a good idea if it's hauling other Teslas and it's hauling them off a cliff.
This is Maximum Overdrive.
Yes. Greatest movie.
100%.
Okay.
That's what could go wrong right there.
Let's all go watch that movie and then see the future from the past.
Let's go back to the future with Maximum Overdrive.
Speaking of what could go wrong, one of my favorite sections on Top Gear, remember when they'd always start one of their little mini challenges with how hard could it be? There's been a lot going on with Top Gear. And as we know, Top Gear is officially off the air after they had that accident in that three-wheeled Morgan at the old test track with the new crew. And there was some lawsuits and somebody got injured and all that. So Top Gear went off the air. Everything went dark. And then the Grand Tour finally closed. But now Hammond and May are back without Clarkson doing some Top Gear-y stuff. And I don't even know what to call it because it shows up on Amazon Prime. But then they were spotted at the old Top Gear studio and doing laps around the track, which is kind of cool and fun, but also really sad. If you watch the video of Hammond and May going around, and I think it's May's Porsche Taycan, and they're doing like a slow lap of the track, you don't realize how long they've been away from the old Top Gear set, like how many years have gone by, but you also begin to really realize how old they've gotten. We've grown up with them, so you really don't realize it. But then you kind of watch May, and he's sort of got the shakes a little bit, you know what I mean? And he's struggling to like remember certain things. And
he also almost killed himself in that tunnel in Sweden or Norway or whatever in that Subaru.
A Mitsubishi,
yeah, the Lancer, the Evo. So who knows what traumatic brain injury he sustained from that, actually, legitimately.
I don't think he was right after that accident, to be honest with you, but it was a nice little trip down memory lane. It's fun to see them doing stuff. I watched most of the new Grand Tour special, which all it is just a best of retro clips from previous Grand Tour episodes, and they've got Clarkson in there doing the voiceovers and everything. But that's not what got me excited. What got me excited about Top Gear again is that it's now available as a dedicated channel on Pluto TV. You can watch Top Gear 24/7, and it's freaking awesome to go back and watch. And my girls were already fans of some of the specials in the Grand Tour, and so I got to introduce them to things like the Bolivia special, or remember when they did the Olympics and they did the Mini Cooper off the ski jump, or the cop cars and stuff like that. And so they've been getting into it, and it's kind of cool because I'll catch even my young one, or she'll bring Pluto up on her tablet and she's watching Top Gear. I think it's absolutely fabulous that this is now available. And if people didn't know, I'm like, go get Pluto TV. It's free. Scroll down to reality television and there's a Top Gear channel. Boom, done. Mark it as your favorite and watch it whenever you want. It's awesome.
Fantastic. Well, now I know what I'm doing with the rest of my life.
We got to switch over to Rich People Things, sponsored by Garage Style Magazine, because after all, it doesn't belong in your garage, right? Just when you thought you had everything. Brad, I found something you need in your garage. How about a Golf liveried Cushman Golfster? Take a look at this thing. Available at Mecum Auctions. I've looked up to see what it's sold for. They don't list the price. They're keeping that hidden. Somebody bought this thing. Don's write-up over Garage Style reads, "We know just by virtue of its uniqueness and super cool golf paint scheme that if he'd had the chance, Steve McQueen would have bought this thing."
Okay. This is a three-wheeler.
Uh-huh.
Would you want this or the new Fiat Tuk-Tuk?
I want the new Fiat.
I want the new Fiat.
Because at least I have a roof over my head.
And you can put something in it. It's got a truck bed. This thing's useless. I don't think Brad's 6'4" could fit in this. His knees would be in over his shoulders behind his head.
I would have to high tower it. I would have to rip the seat out and sit in the back and kind of stretch my legs across both seats and just shift in the center of my legs.
See, and this is where you sit on it and not in it, right? There's a big difference.
Yes.
See, he would sit in the seat, but I think his legs would be over the dash, so to speak, and then he'd just reach down with his hand,
Then push the
control
pedal.
the gas pedal.
Yeah.
All right, Brad. Well, if you didn't like that one, okay, that's too flashy for you. And Tanya said it was useless. It doesn't do anything. You can go with the standard edition Cushman tow cart, which Don writes, this three-wheeler is sure to make life easier in a number of situations. And while it's a little rudimentary compared to some of the other items on offer in this particular collection, we wondered if it might be the tool you've been looking for and that
No.
every garage needs.
No. Okay. So it's got a freaking engine hoist on the back of it.
That's the best part.
Unless you have a garage that's a warehouse, that's useless.
This thing's awesome. I think Brad could sit on that one.
Yeah, just spread leg out a little bit wide side, but yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that shows up at these auctions, though. And so I've made it a point now to try to pull some of this stuff out. This is rich people shit. Nobody in their right mind, maybe
They
Daniel.
literally half-ass cut the legs of an engine hoist,
Yep.
freaking using cotter pins
Yep.
to hold that MFer down in there.
Yep.
You're going to tell me that you're going to lift an engine and that ain't
Nope.
going to rip out?
You're going to flip it over, is what you're going to do with that.
Oh, God.
You try to lift a big block 454 with that, you're going to end up with an engine on the ground and that thing's standing up.
Sure. You could have maybe convinced me without the engine hoist because it has a tow hitch on it and it's got a little bit of bed that you could have put something in
At least 4 bags of mulch.
at best. But it's a shame the price is unknown.
0. It did not sell. They're lying to you.
That's got to be a 5-figure sale. I guarantee it.
Again, I would take the tuk-tuk.
Don't forget, if you're looking for that extra special automobilia to complete your garage, office, den, or man cave, be sure to check out GarageStyleMagazine.com for a list of upcoming auctions and events, along with a curated list of items going up for sale all over the country. Because after all, what doesn't belong in your garage?
Thanks for that, Brad. It's time we switch to Are You Faster Than an Interceptor?
Nailed it.
You might have an advantage, just a slight advantage right now, because GM is donating cars to the Secret Service so they can learn how to drive manual transmission.
Well, the secret's out.
Secret's out, but they're doing it in Cadillac CT Blackwings. Until they get a handle on that, you might outrun them even in that Yugo that we talked about earlier, but not for long.
Can I join the Secret Service just to drive the Blackwing and then quit immediately after?
Can I be a Secret Service trainer? That's a cool job. I want to be their DE instructor.
Yeah.
Tanya, we did that Cadillac special event at VIR that one year. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
She's still traumatized. All the hearse purrs.
Yeah, that was too many hearse powers.
You didn't like all them hearse purrs?
Not when I was in the right seat. I didn't appreciate them, especially spinning at the top of roller coaster, entering roller coaster with you in your student's car coming at us at my door. Ridiculous. But I shall preface this section by most of these have not been curated by me, but you will know the one that has been curated by me.
Of course. But I am shocked. And again, maybe it's Big Brother that's listening out there. There's so many of these articles that are popping up now about the police and traffic and all this kind of stuff. So I find them entertaining. And, Brad put it into universe. Are you faster than an interceptor? And one of our longtime fans of the show, Mark Hewitt, wrote this month, Brad. He reached out.
Oh my God. Mark is alive. What's going on, Mark?
He sent us an article about how the state of Virginia, your new home state, will use technology to slow those chronic speeders, and other states are rushing to join in.
Haven't we talked about this?
Aren't they going to use those revolutionary items called cameras?
No.
No, that they're actually going to rate limit you, like slow your car down.
Yes.
What?
So your car would have to be
Chipped.
forcing you to put something in the car.
Yeah, they're either going to flash the ECUs, which again brings up a question of whether or not that voids your warranty, or the manufacturers on board with that. Do you have the right to do that? Or they'll put in some other device that will basically electronically speed limit the car to whatever speed they want it to be, which realistically, I've said before, with GPS technology, with an EV, they'll be able to do this in the near future.
Well, not even an EV. The new modern cars that have the built-in GPS systems, they can easily do it with all the infotainment system.
If it's 45, it's 45. And if you slam that pedal to the floor, it's going to do 45. So they haven't said exactly what the speed is going to be for stuff like this, because here's the problem. Do you set it to the state maximum, which might be 55, but on some roads it's 65, and in other places in Southern Virginia it's 70? Or do you make it 70 and now these people can still go 70 anywhere they want when the speed limit's 55, so they're still speeding? So there's a problem with this scenario.
Well, they started talking about super speeders, and a super speeder is someone going more than 20 miles an hour over the limit. And then they go on to talk about all the people doing over 100 miles an hour. And I'm like, okay, well, those are very two different things.
Yeah.
Well, it's 20 miles an hour over what and where? A 20-mile-an-hour school zone, and you're going to blast through there at 60 miles an hour, probably not a great thing. A stupid 35-mile-an-hour limited backcountry road through farmland where there's nothing but grass on either side of you. If you did 55 and it's straight and flat and you can see, it's not the same thing. Now, going through there at $120, probably not a good idea at all, but this is tricky. There's so much gray area, and it goes back to previous conversation of the speed limits are still ancient in a sense. They're based off of Corvairs going down the road that couldn't keep it in the lane and crap like that. And with modern braking and all this stuff, and even all the stupid nannies in the cars, some of the speed limits should actually be higher.
Yeah.
Like 20 over a speed limit actually might not be beyond the capability of the road and the car on it. This is, again, the slippery slope.
Why is Virginia getting away from their old tried and true throwing people in jail?
That takes too much time and there's too much crowding.
Probably.
But that's okay, because the state of Florida has proven that speed cameras are effective. In the great capital city of Tallahassee, they are earning $318,000. I'm going to say that again, $318,000 a month from their speed cameras, and they want more.
They plan to install 23 more cameras, thinking they can generate 18.6 million annually. That's some good numbers.
Can I own speed cameras like people own vending machines?
Get franchise speed cameras?
Can I franchise some speed cameras and just set them up at random locations?
Yeah, I'll just take a percentage of that. Even 1% of 18.6 million? That's not bad.
Yeah, every day.
I will say 10%. Perfect. You can keep the 90. I don't care. Just give me 10%.
But that's okay. As we know, in the DMV, over 50% of the cameras don't work because we don't have the funding to keep them going, and they're all broken.
You would think that they would fund themselves.
Again, it's like tariffs. We don't know where the money is going.
Hashtag corruption.
So the great state of Washington, not to confuse with the city of Washington, D.C., also has speed cameras all over cities like Seattle and whatnot. In recent times, more than 8,000 drivers in the state of Washington have received speeding notices in the mail, but they're not being fined.
That's a very West Coast thing.
Well, no, I think it's because they're new. So there's a grace period, like warning you, hey, you would have gotten a ticket and this is going to go into effect.
Hey, I saw you. You better slow down, mister.
According to the article, they actually break out what the fines would be and all that. And so again, it gets into this conversation about many people are like, hey, you run through one of those cameras on the highway, you pay the fine, who cares? You don't get any points because they can't validate who's actually driving the car. It could be anybody. It could be a rental for all that matters. Until we get the forward-facing stuff that we talked about on a couple drive-throughs ago. But I just think it's, to your point, Brad, it's so West Coast. It's so polite. Like, I'm going to send you a letter.
Do they include like a donation envelope like you do at church? It's like, if you would like to donate to the cause so that we can continue to mail you letters about how fast you were driving and how bad of a sinner you are, please just send us a check for $5 and absolve your sins.
And the next time they send you the little address labels with your name on it.
Very Salvation Army. Oh my God, yes. Please accept these labels as our generosity. Welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you so much for being a kind human and only speeding 10 over the speed limit and not 50.
Well, and talking about that.
Well, before we move on, I just want to say, I was in Maryland a couple months ago and I blew through a speed camera. I was doing like 60 and a 30.
Ooh.
Well, it's on New Hampshire Avenue 650
Yeah.
down there in the very rural part of Montgomery County. But I knew the camera was there. They keep moving the camera for different locations, and I thought I had already passed it, and apparently I didn't. So I never got a ticket. I mean, this was a couple months ago. I never got anything.
Mm,
Nothing has happened.
could still show up. Or sometimes they're off, so you might have lucked out.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it was on. I saw the flash, and I was like, well,
Oh.
I'm done. But I don't care because I don't live here. So bye bye. Send me my $100 ticket, and I will pay it my little church donation, and I will talk to y'all later. I kept on going. I floored it to like 70 or 80 after that. I was like, well, shit, I'm already getting a ticket. Who cares now?
It's the next camera's 10 feet down that, you know.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of speed limits and whatnot, North Dakota is the next state to raise its interstate limit to 80 miles an hour.
They could do it to 100. There's a population of 1,000 in the whole state, and
This is the hot news over on the drive. Thanks for that.
they're just raising it 5 miles an hour. It's already 75.
What do people do on those roads when they're by themselves? Do they just do like 100? Or do you do 80? Like, is 80 fast enough at that point? Because you're so bored. It should just be infinite.
I've always felt that, irregardless of whatever the speed limit is, people are going to go the speed that they're comfortable going.
True.
So on like a back road or something, the speed limit could be 45. I'm comfortable doing 50, 55 on that road. So I'm going to do 50, 55. And on a highway, I don't need to go any more than 70, 75 miles an hour, especially on like a road trip or something. I just set the cruise control and go. So I think most people are just going to go whatever speed they're comfortable going, regardless of whatever the speed limit is.
Comfortable and capable.
When you're locked in at 72 miles an hour and somebody blows by you and they're up your butt doing 90, 95, and it's like, guys, the speed limit's 55 or 60. We're already going well over. You're doing double or what, you're trying to do double. Are you in that much of a hurry?
Well, see, that's the thing. When you're driving in New Jersey, the speed limit signs all have an invisible one in front of the number that you can't. So they've got special glasses that they wear
got it.
with the Jersey vision. And whenever you see a Jersey plate, you know that they operate from a different law system.
Well, meanwhile, in California, it was a bad day at CarMax.
California.
Knows how to party.
Did you guys see this dude who apparently was super unhappy with his appraisal on his Subaru Outback?
This person should be thrown in jail, and that's it.
No, he should be thrown in a mental hospital.
Probably has some sort of, yes, mental instability, because what rational, sane person goes, oh, I don't like this. The next logical course of action is for me to drive my car through a CarMax and wreck everything. That really helped the appraisal value of this car.
Right? That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, where's the logic in this?
There was none.
That's the problem. Nobody has any logic.
He trashed that car.
He trashed the CarMax too.
Not only is his own personal insurance not going to give him a red cent on this because there's camera footage, I'm sure the insurance company is going to see it. So if he was thinking he was going to get a better value from insurance than the appraisal, you're out of luck. And now you got to pay for the damages on this building.
I think he just had the red mist. He was throwing a tantrum like a toddler. He did not know what was going on. He was completely irrational.
And at first you think maybe this is one of these staged BS TikTok, Instagram videos, but this is real footage, because why would you do this? Why would you damage a building? Why would you damage a business? All these people are like running out of the way because they don't want to get hit. So it's for real. But what got me was, if you go scroll down into the comment section, I love that there's a Florida man, Tampa Bay, comments, my car's not worth that much. Oh, I guess I'll just permanently ruin my life and the lives of people around me. I was like, Florida man calling it the way it is.
All right, now we've saved the best. Finally, let's get to real Florida men's story, even though we're not going to Florida. The women of the East Coast right now are going through something, apparently. Last month, we had the crazy lady in Virginia who got on the other person's car in a road rage incident, ripped the windshield wipers off that poor woman's car. Well, this time in Pennsylvania, this woman in her road rage got out of her car and took a deuce on the hood of the other person's.
I'm sorry, I have to excuse myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, Eric is dying in the background.
I love the little disclaimer. You can view the original video, but warning, The video is graphic and could disturb some viewers.
They've censored it out though, so you don't get to
No.
You don't get to
Oh
see
no,
how
I was
healthy
looking
she
for the
is.
two girls, one cup. Damn.
No. 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 You're telling me there's video footage of this?
Somebody videoed it, yes. They
What?
videoed it, but they censored it.
My God, they say defecate so many times it's almost a drinking game. This is insane. They don't really show it. That sucks.
The shit-eating grin this woman has. Oh my God.
I love the tagline. Crappy situation. What compels people? Is it drugs?
Probably.
Karen was so mad.
The video was shot by a 17-year-old named Greg. Said he was driving to his friend's house when he saw two women in a confrontation and pulled out his phone and started recording. So he's like, oh, look, cat fight.
It's like, that's not the cat fight I envisioned. That's not what American Pie told me.
That is unreal.
Hold on, I'm not done yet because apparently this suspect goes by the last name Shitehead on her Facebook. Believe it or not, allegedly is well, maybe you can believe it. She's an OnlyFans model.
Oh, that's some dark stuff right there. But she has more subscribers than we do.
Now you have to wonder, was it a stunt?
Yes, 100%.
It had to have been. Had to have been for her OnlyFans page. Except she got caught.
Well, she got arrested and now got a bunch of charges against her, so I don't know how good of a stunt that is.
Lewd act in front of a minor because the guy who filmed at 17, he's not an adult yet.
True. That's true.
That's what they'll get her on.
What an idiot. Well, public defecation is illegal too.
It depends on the state.
I don't know what Pennsylvania law is.
They can ride motorcycles with no helmets. I'm pretty sure
They can dump out on the
they can
sidewalk.
put public. Yes, those laws are related. Same, but different.
The no helmet laws in Pennsylvania do boggle my mind. When I was coming back from the Glen, you spend a lot of time in PA, and there was a guy running alongside me or running past me, and I'm like, dude, you're doing like 85, 90 mile an hour, like weaving through people on your big old Harley with no helmet on. I was like, you're an organ donor, I guess, because I mean, I don't get it.
It's not even that would be my first concern.
Getting hit by a bug.
Yeah. And I have had that happen through the open window of the car. That hurts. Now imagine
Yeah.
a rock. You could go blind.
That's why they wear those pit viper sunglasses, you know?
Whatever. People are dumb. Darwinism.
Pennsylvania's just like letting that work itself out.
Well, and it's like, okay, the law is the law, but you could still wear the helmet.
Yeah.
That's the smart thing to do. All right, folks. Well, it's time we go behind the pit wall and talk about motorsports news.
Well, the first up is we have to report sad news, the passing of the legendary or celebrated engine builder, Ed Pink, who died at the age of 94. He's known for many V8s, motors in NASCAR, Can-Am, IndyCar, drag racing. He pretty much, I think, was the guru of these motors. He even consulted with Singer tuning flat sixes and Porsche. I think they said his last build was a couple months before he even died, like just doing it till he croaked, basically. I guess the motorsports world has lost a legend there.
Because we are still in time, I want to mention again that Le Mans is almost here. And the ACO USA is sponsoring not one, but two viewing parties over Le Mans weekend. The first one will be hosted in conjunction with the ARCF, the Automobile Club of Florida, at Sebring International Raceway. That's a start to dark event, just like last year's viewing party at M1 Concourse. And you'll also be able to sign up to do hot laps of Sebring International while you're there. So that's an added bonus to that event. And the second ACO USA viewing party is held in conjunction with our friends at the Simeone Foundation Museum in Philadelphia. And that's a full 24-hour event with camping, around-the-clock demos of Le Mans vehicles, all sorts of stuff. Details on that event are in our show notes. And guess what, guys? We just got added to the playbill. I am going to be doing a live Evening with a Legend from the Simeone Museum at 7 p.m. on Saturday night of Le Mans. So tune in for that. There will be a live streaming option, and we'll make that available to you guys as soon as we have it.
Do we get to know in advance who it is, or is it a surprise?
As long as nobody cancels, it's going to be Harley Cluxton. Izzy would say, "Who's that, Steve?" He is member number 1 to the Club de Pilote. He's actually the owner operator of the Mirage racing team. He took over in the mid 1970s and bringing many, many wins to Mirage and Gulf racing through the middle and late 70s and then carrying on much, much later. So very interesting guy. I've talked to him before. I'm really looking forward to interviewing him there live in front of an audience at the ACO viewing party.
Do we want to mention IndyCar predictions for the Indy 500?
Sure. What you got?
Well, I got to go with Will Power.
Is SVG running an IndyCar? That tells you how much I know.
I actually don't know who's running. I think there are a couple female drivers. I don't know, but not Pippa Mann. What's her? I can't remember her name.
All I've heard about IndyCar so far is all this drama about Penske and the cheater parts, and they got disqualified, and people got fired, or they got moved to the back of the pack. It was like all this drama, and I don't really know what it was all about. You know, we cover Indy 500 month, right? Because it still takes a month. There's all this qualifying and all this testing.
Yeah, they qualify like a week ahead of time and all this other stuff.
There's so much stuff going on that you kind of lose track because it takes forever to get to the race and a lot of things happen in between. So I'm not saying that I'm toning it out, but I have dedicated my life to Formula.
Isn't a rookie sitting on pole for Indy
Yes.
500?
I don't know. I bring it up. I did exactly zero research. I just know that it's this weekend, and I'm probably going to watch it, a little bit of it with my host on Sunday.
So in typical Brad fashion,
Yeah.
watch that or watch the Monte Carlo Grand Prix.
Both. They're on different times.
No, you get to choose one.
He's torn, apparently.
The Monte Carlo Grand Prix is Monaco, correct? I mean, am I just being an idiot?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I've never heard it called the Monte Carlo Grand Prix.
It's in Monte Carlo.
Any idea? I don't know. I would watch Monaco 1,000%.
Okay.
Fun fact, my wife and her family went to the Monaco F1 race about 10 years ago.
Wow.
Her dad's a big F1 fan, and they went to Monaco for the race.
Wow. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Well, since you've ushered us into Formula
Predictions for Monaco.
it is
Snooze fest.
it's a procession.
Sounds like it might rain during qualifying. There's a slight chance, but looks like there's sun during the race. So there you have it.
No.
Yeah, wherever they qualify is where they finish unless somebody wrecks, and that's pretty much it. Or Ocon tries to take them all out again. One or the other.
I'm going to predict Lance Stroll is not going to win.
Oh, I was going to say. Hold on, I'm going to do the great Karnak for a minute. And Lewis Hamilton, 8th place.
No, I think Lewis Hamilton is going to get 6th place.
Please.
I think Alonso is going to win.
No, Alonso's too busy just being a jerk. Like, does he want everybody to hate him? I read these articles about Alonso, and he's just like, I don't get it. Like, if you're done with Formula One, retire.
He's not done with this.
Oh, is that what it is? He's not
Yeah.
done with the money, the Benjamins.
No, of course not.
Okay. God, he drives me nuts, though. He's got such a chip on his shoulder. And I was hopeful there because the Imola race last weekend was one of the most exciting races we've seen so far, at least to a point. And it was like, oh, look, Alonso, he's up near the front. And then it was like, garbage, back of the pack. I realized he is there to tow Lance Stroll around. He is paid to be in front of Lance and just do lead follow while a race is happening. It's like a DE. It's ridiculous.
Not a bad gig, I guess.
Yeah.
Dude, I would be so pissed.
Depends how much money he's getting.
Go
Yeah.
do something else. Go race WEC or IMSA. Or...
But what else does he have to prove? He's won Le Mans. Hasn't he won an F1 championship?
Yeah, a couple of
Two.
them.
So what else does he have to prove? Who gives a shit what you think?
Did he win Indy as well?
No, his car broke down.
Ah, okay. So he doesn't have
He
the
was
Triple
in the
Crown.
Hondas that kept breaking down, I think.
Well, then he should go do like the Nürburgring 24 or something different.
I think he's going to go do whatever the hell he wants, and he doesn't care what any of us think. He's got his money. He's got his championships in 2 different motorsports. He's fine. Go run Dakar. Go Valentino Rossi, and go to motorcycles. Go the other way.
I'm not sure that transition works as well.
It does not. It's a very different discipline.
That's when like Hakkinen went to go do rally, and he is apparently the only Finnish person without rally genes in his DNA, and he was absolutely terrible at it.
Does he have NASCAR genes instead?
Oh, like Kimmy? Yeah, no. All right, so continuing the saga of the Tifosi and Ferrari and Lewis and all this happy horse hockey. Miami is a terrible track.
Just a terrible event. Yeah, it's a waste of time.
Terrible track. It sucks. But there was a moment of just absolute radio glory. It was the funniest thing. So Tanya, do you remember it was like after all the rain debacle and whether it was going to rain, whether it was going to rain, there was all that stuff at the beginning. So it was a little bit exciting. And then once there was no more call for rain, it got super boring and everybody just kind of fell into place, much like with some of the other tracks. There was that moment though where Lewis is fighting with Leclerc over the radio because one is arguing that the other one is holding them up and the team orders and the team wasn't giving him the point by, let him through, right?
Yes.
So Brad, did you see this race?
No, but I think I saw clips of what you're talking about.
So Leclerc at some point is like, all right, give me back the position, blah, 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 blah. So he's got to let Leclerc through, and Hamilton didn't really want to, although he made a big stink about having better tires, and he really didn't gain anything by being in front of Leclerc. It's like, because the Ferraris are like, I don't know, they're just dog shit. They must be 4 cylinders while everybody else is 6 because they can't get out of their own way. To that end, he lets Leclerc through, and then his engineer's like on the radio, and he's like, Sainz 1.6, Sainz 1 point whatever, Sainz. It's like Sainz is behind him. And then Lewis is like, do you want me to let him through too? And I just died. That is the funniest thing I've heard in Formula One in like forever. And apparently it like went over like a lead balloon, right? As it should. But I was like, I was not expecting that from Hamilton, for him to like sort of bite back and be like, hey, you want to let Sainz pass too?
He's very frustrated.
Was this the same race where he said, like you just go have a tea or something like that?
Yes, yeah, that was later because he's like, the strategy was complete bunk. And he's like, these guys don't know what they're doing. And it's an absolute mess. And obviously he's comparing them to many years of being with Mercedes. That race in Miami was boring. The second half was whatever. Other than that, it was boring.
It seems like over the last couple of years, Ferrari has just not been able to figure out a strategy that works.
So why did he go to Ferrari? It was stupid. Oh, it's about that. It's about that again. It's about the tariffs. I got it.
Again, how many championships does he have? What does he actually have to prove? I don't care what he says in public facing,
Yeah.
but what does he actually have to prove? Absolutely not a
He's
goddamn
collecting
thing.
a paycheck.
Yes, exactly.
Like I've been saying. So Imola, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, that was a good race. That was exciting. Lots of interesting stuff's happening. Suddenly the Red Bull is fast again. The McLarens, they want to take each other out. I think Lando is kind of playing dirty. Just let Piastri do his thing. He's faster than you. Get out of the way. It's all these games there too. But I think Leclerc, you really got to see some of his true colors come through at that race. He got angry and he was driving in anger. And I think it was hilarious. And there was that moment there on the radio too, where he's like, is this what racing has become? Right? Where it's all BS team politics and they can't just race anymore because we have to go to plan Delta. We have to go to plan this and that and blah, 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 and all this shit. It's like, just let them drive. Just let them drive. Stop screwing around with tires and pit stop nonsense. Build a better mousetrap, go out and race the hell out of them, and let's see who wins. But Tanya, you kept talking about turbo mushrooms during that race.
The Ferrari cars have a problem, and it'll be interesting whatever that problem is ever unearthed, because they are incredibly slow and sluggish. They barely can pass each other. They can't keep up with the frickin' Williams with DRS wide open. They can't make a pass. Everything is super slow. But then there's moments where it's like he got the turbo mushroom in Mario Kart, and suddenly like he's raking people in and like the lap times are coming down and it's like, holy crap, here we go, let's go. And then suddenly it's like do 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 do, and the mushroom ran out and it's back to big turd that can't get him out its own way and accelerate. Like, what is wrong?
That or the Geritol wore off, one or the other.
Even Leclerc's car is the same thing.
Yeah. Personally, watching some of that video of the in-car, when they're running for top speed, even with DRS open, they're like in 8th gear, foot to the floor, and the thing just hangs there at like 6,000 RPM in the wrong part of the rev range, and it won't pull. And I turned to Tanya as we were watching, I said, I think the Ferrari needs to redesign their transmission. I think the gearing is wrong. And that's keeping those cars behind. If they could shorten up their gear pack a little bit, 6th, 7th, and 8th gear, maybe they could get back some of the speed that they're missing. But if you're sitting there in 8th gear at 6,000 RPM doing 190 miles an hour and it won't pull, what is it geared for? 300? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Those stupid engines turn like 14,000 RPM. You're barely in the power zone at that point. You might as well just leave it in seventh at that point, you know? So I think their gearing is maybe what's killing them. And then we're going to hear excuses about the floor design and this and that and the wing here and the wing there. I think it's the transmission. I think that's the Achilles heel of the Ferrari.
And we heard Hamilton, I think it was even in the last race, he keeps complaining about the brakes. The brakes are very different. The design is different than what he's used to from Mercedes. He mentioned before that he's never had to engine brake one of the cars before, and he's having to learn how to do that here. And it's okay. So maybe one, to chalk it up to he's caressing the violin, singing a song, complaining. But at this last race, Leclerc, through qualifying and like practice, was bemoaning the brakes. Like, my God, my God, my God. Apparently they were like behaving. So I don't know what their technology of their brakes is, but
They're electric.
They would behave one way in a certain time, and then suddenly they were behaving differently at another time. And it's like, if your brakes don't work, if they're not carrying the right speed or decreasing the speed in the zones and having the right power to come out, and if they have a sluggish motor, the transmission's not geared correctly, I mean, they're losing time everywhere.
Yeah.
They can't get out of their own way.
It's horrible.
I mean, Leclerc is not a bad driver. He's fighting. And we could say that Lewis Hamilton's not a bad driver either, right? And he's doing crap. But then you see them when they're side by side with the other cars, and it's like the disparity is kind of evident. They are not competitive against the Red Bull or the McLaren. We'll see how it changes.
What race number is this? Like 10?
I don't know that there's been that many.
But my prediction has held true. By the third race, he wasn't going to do any better than where he's at.
But if the car is a problem, then it's not fair either.
Because where are the Mercedes?
They're at the front.
Doing better.
Antonelli started like second at Imola. It was insane. You guys told me the Mercedes is inferior. They don't know how to build a car, blah, blah, blah. And now they're like kicking butt.
I don't think anybody said that.
The Mercedes, as last year's season, so Mercedes fell off and they were wildly uncompetitive. You talk about how
Yeah.
Ferrari can't accelerate and get out of its own way. It was pathetic, the Mercedes. As the season last year wound down, their improvements, you could see they were doing better. The Mercedes was becoming more competitive. So whatever they've done coming into this year, yes, they have a more competitive car. So maybe had he stayed with Mercedes, it'd be a whole other story right now.
Because Russell's doing great. Antonelli's doing great. Guess we'll see. Too bad. Super disappointed in Ferrari this year. But I'm going to tough it out. I promise you guys, we're going to ride to the end.
That would have been the last 5 years as well. So, I mean...
And you wonder why I don't watch. I'm telling you guys, spend a year following IMSA and WEC, and you will see much better racing than the garbage that Formula One is putting out. And now we're going to bring Mickey Mouse into the equation. Now there's partnerships with Disney. Once I read that, I was like, thank God this is the only year I can go back to watching real racing and not this trash.
He acts like somebody put a gun to his head.
I'm doing it for you guys. You called me out. You said I didn't know.
We told you to watch Drive to Survive.
Yeah, you're not a real fan unless you watch Drive to Survive.
Well, let's correct that. Emmy award-winning Drive to Survive. Let me puke a little bit.
Netflix is Emmy award winning.
Yeah. It's like giving yourself your own. Yeah, it's such garbage. Whatever. No, thank you. There is no reason to watch Drive to Survive if you watch the races. I mean, I'm just going to flat out say that.
But you don't get all the drama.
You know what's going to have a bunch of drama in it? This Brad Pitt movie. Are we going to go see it?
I mean, eventually I will see it.
When it's at the bargain bin, free 99 on your streaming service?
Preferably, but I guess I could spend money on it. I think I have a gift card.
Wow. I'll use someone else's money to watch this terrible movie. Third one of the night. Brad Pitt movie, or completely unrelated but car adjacent, the Paul Walker story. Which would you watch?
I need more information. Is it any Brad Pitt movie or?
No. The Brad Pitt Formula One movie is what I'm referring to.
So Driven 2 or the Paul Walker story?
Yeah.
I would rather sit there and watch Sesame Street with my kids for 2 hours.
Again, you're going to be able to watch Disney with F1 soon enough. So that's the future. That's the future.
That means ESPN's owned by Disney too. So
yeah.
Wait, is that what the partnership is? That like you'll be able to stream Formula One on Disney?
I haven't read into it. All I saw were pictures of Mickey Mouse with a Formula One car, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm out.
No, I'm not out, because if you're regular streaming Disney Plus, if you've got a subscription to it, now you can watch Formula One without paying Another subscription to the F1 channel.
Can we rename the F1 drivers with Cars characters?
Oh man, that'd be so funny.
The winner of this year's championship becomes Lightning McQueen.
Mm.
And then we've got the other guys. I don't remember their names.
Oh, is there going to be a Pixar Cars, but F1?
There was an F1 car. He was Italian in Cars too.
Yes.
I just don't see F1 TV giving up the goat to Disney, giving them
No,
the
I don't think
rights.
that's what this is. They're trying to appeal to the very younger crowd by like partnering to have the mascots. But then I would question, do young kids even watch Mickey Mouse?
Henry likes it.
Is this still on? Okay.
Maybe it's the other way. Formula One is trying to bring Disney up to its level, not the other way around.
They gonna move the Miami race to Orlando?
It'll be on an oval and it'll be run by Indy cars.
Oh wait,
Wait, they already do that.
go 45 minutes east and just run it at Daytona.
Well, I guess we'll have to report on the developments of this as they come to light in the upcoming months.
Yes.
Meanwhile, our motorsports news is brought to us in partnership with the International Motor Racing Research Center. We just concluded the first center conversation of the year. It was all about the history of Niagara Dragway. You can check that out on the IMRRC's YouTube page. Pretty cool. We live streamed it at the same time. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot about Niagara Dragway and its influence on drag racing in the East Coast in general, and some of the famous names and people that were there. It was very, very well done center conversation. So mad props to Kip and the team over at the IMRRC for putting that together. We look forward to more center conversations throughout the year. And if you hadn't heard, the IMRRC sweepstakes is back. You can win a 2025 Porsche 911T with a manual transmission or take a $75,000 cash option. Details on how you can enter the sweepstakes and continue to support the ongoing efforts of the International Motor Racing Research Center are available at racingarchives.org, and then click on sweepstakes from the upper right corner. And now it's time for our GTM Trackside Report, sponsored by the Northeast region of the Audi Club of America.
Are you ready to discover the exhilarating world of track driving? This season, step into your driver's seat and experience the thrill of pushing your car to its limits in a safe, controlled environment, perfect for those who have always dreamt of getting on track. Here are some upcoming ACNA events you might want to check out. Social Trans Am Memorial Day Classic at Lime Rock, Saturday, May 24th through Monday, May 26th. Social IMSA Salem 6 Hours of the Glen, Watkins Glen, New York, Sunday, June 22nd. 2-day HPD at Club Motorsports, Tamworth, New Hampshire is a June 23rd, 24th, Monday, Tuesday event. Also, 2-day HPD at Palmer, Massachusetts, Saturday and Sunday, July 19th and 20th. Another 2-day HPD at the Watkins Glen International Raceway in New York, Wednesday, Thursday event, August 13th and 14th. And lastly, rounding out the summer here, September 15th and 16th, NJMB Thunderbolt in Millville, New Jersey, a Monday, Tuesday event. For experienced track enthusiasts, these events offer a fantastic opportunity to refine your techniques and challenge your precision on the track. Reconnect with the vibrant community of drivers and instructors who share your passion and enjoy the friendly and supportive atmosphere. Push your limits, improve your handling skills, and take the opportunity to make every second on the track count. Feel free to visit www.neqclub.org. Discover more events like this on our motorsports calendar at club.gtmotorsports.org, then click Events.
And if you're not quite ready to hit the track, don't forget that you can find tons of upcoming local shows and events at the ultimate reference for car enthusiasts, collectorcarguide.net.
Be sure to jump back into our podcast catalog and check out other programs we offer like Screen to Speed, The Ferrari Marketplace, The Motoring Historian, Evening with a Legend, The Logbook, Break Fix, and of course, The Drive-Thru. And remember, for everything we talked about on this episode and more, be sure to check out the follow-on article and show notes available at gtmotorsports.org.
And if you enjoy our various podcasts, there's a great way for you to support our creators on the MPN. We've got lots of great extras and bonuses to explore on our expanded Patreon page. So if you'd like to learn more about our bonus and behind-the-scenes content and get early access to upcoming episodes, consider becoming a Break Fix VIP by clicking the blue Join for Free button in the middle of the page when you visit patreon.com/GTMotorsports. And a thank you to our co-host and executive producer Tanya, and all the fans, friends, and family who support Grand Touring Motorsports and the Motoring Podcast Network. Without you, none of this would be possible.
His arm is still bigger than my thigh. I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. He's got calves of a god.
True, true. You mean I don't sound like Steve Buscemi or something?
No, no. A little bit more the dude, the more the
The
Lebowski.
dude. It really, really ties the room together. Really brings the room together. Let's see. Where, oh, where is my notebook now? Oh, where can it be? The research that I did, just now. What is that? Okay, here we go.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, true.
And we're out.
Well, here we are in the drive-through line, me and her. Cars in front of us, cars in back of us, all just waiting to order. There's some idiot in a Volvo with his bright sun behind me. I lean out the window and scream, hey, what you trying to do, blind me? My wife says maybe we should
We hope you enjoyed another awesome episode of Break Fix Podcast, brought to you by Grand Touring Motorsports. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or get involved, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Grand Touring Motorsports. And if you'd like to learn more about the content of this episode, be sure to check out the follow-on article at gtmotorsports.org. We remain a commercial-free and no annual fees organization through our sponsors, but also through the generous support of our fans, families, and friends through Patreon. For as little as $2.50 a month, you can get access to more behind-the-scenes action, additional pit stop minisodes, and other VIP goodies, as well as keeping our team of creators fed on their strict diet of Fig Newtons, Gummy Bears, and Monster. So consider signing up for Patreon today at www.patreon.com/GT Motorsports. And remember, without you, none of this would be possible.